Welcome back. In our last few classes, we have already learned the concept of decision making and branching, means if-else statements, and also decision making and looping. And there we have learned different types of loops like for, while, and do loops. While solving problems through programming, there may be scenario when we need to exit from a loop early, and that can be accomplished by the help of break statement and goto statement. And how to use these two statements, their syntax, we will learn in today's class. We have already learned the use of the break statement in case of switch case and goto statement in case of if else. But in today's class, we will learn their use with respect to loops. Here we can see a while loop. We are already familiar with the syntax of while loop, so there is no need to explain that. Here what is the difference is within this while loop, within this opening and closing brace, whatever statements we have written here, they will be executed as per the logic, as per the requirement. But in between we have a statements where we have a condition, if condition, and then after that we have a break statement. So if the condition which is written within this opening and closing parenthesis, if that condition is satisfied, then this break statement will be executed, and when this break will be encountered, the control will come out of the loop will be terminated, means the loop is immediately exited and the program continues with the statements that we have immediately following that particular loop. So whenever the control will come here, when it will encounter this break statement, the control next will not execute these lines, rather it will come out of the loop, it will terminate the loop, and the control will come here, and whatever statements here we have in that program which is not part of the loop but they are part of the program, they will be executed. So this is the concept of break statement. Here we have the format of do loop or do while loop. We are already familiar with that. Here again, within this opening and closing braces, whatever statements are written, they will be performed as part of the loop, and they will be iterated as per the condition that we set to execute or repeat that loop or to terminate that loop. And again, here we can see that in between those statements we have a break statement, and before that we have a condition. So when this condition will be satisfied, the program control will execute this break, and as per the logic of this break statement, the loop will be terminated, the control will exit the loop, and it will go to the statement that we have following that while statement. So it will come here. This is the format of for loop. Again the same concept, and here we have the break statements. Here we have a sample nested loop or nested for loop. In case of nested loop, the program control will come out of that loop that contains that particular break statement. Here in this nested for loop, this is our outer for loop, this is our inner for loop, and this dotted line represents executable statement that is part of this outer for loop. Within this opening and closing braces, whatever is written here, they are part of inner for loop, and as part of that inner for loop we have this break statement, and before that we have a condition. So whenever this condition will be satisfied, this break statement will be executed and the control will come out of the loop. But which loop? Since this time this break statement is part of this inner loop, so control will come out of this inner loop, and next it will execute this line, whatever is written here as per the logic it will execute. So this inner loop will be terminated, but the outer for loop will be still executed. So control will not come out of the whole loop or the outer loop. So it will exit the loop containing that break statement. Like break statement, we have goto statement in case of C programming, and this is a sample while loop where we can see that within this loop we have a goto statement, and what it does, by the help of goto statement, the control jumps from one place to another place, and that place could be within that loop, it could be outside of that loop. So like whatever is written here as per that, so if the condition that will be written within this if statement or as part of this if statement, if that gets satisfied, then it will execute goto statement. and where it will jump to, that will be mentioned after that go to statement. So here go to stop. So in the program it will try to find that place where it will find that leveling stop. So that stop we find outside of that loop. That means whenever this condition will be satisfied, the program control will jump from this loop to this place, means it will exit that loop. And again within the same while loop we can see that we have another condition mentioned here, and for that again we have a go to statement, and after that go to statement we have also here the mention of the place where the control will jump to, and that is within that loop only. So if suppose the first condition is not satisfied but the second condition is satisfied, then it will execute the go to statement and the program control will come to this place where we have that mention x y z, and after that whatever statements we have, they will be executed. And once that is done, then again the while loop will be iterated if the condition of execution or repetition is satisfied. So whether we are using break statement or go to statement, first we need to analyze our requirement properly, and then we need to put that break or go to statement in our program very carefully, because it is a matter of discontinuing or terminating the loop or jumping from one place to another place. So those statements, if they are not placed properly, then we may face logical errors in our programs. Again, this is a sample nested for loops where we have used this go to statement. So within this inner for loop, we have coded this go to statement. And if the condition that we have written within or as part of this if statement, if that is satisfied, then this go to statement will be executed. And whatever mention we have after that go to statement, program will try to find that place and it will move directly to that place, and after that whatever statements we have, they will be executed by skipping all the statements in between. Like exiting from a loop or jumping within the loop, we may have scenario where we need to skip the following statements and continue with the next iteration. For that we have a provision in C language, and that is continue statement. So by the help of continue statement, what we can do, we can skip the following statements that we have after the continue statement, and we can continue with the next iteration of that loop. Now you can try to use this break and go to statement in your own programs. I'm sure that you will be able to do that successfully. With that hope, I end today's class. Thank you.